Hello and welcome to my video. It's just a little catch up, and we're also going to do a beach tour of Uist. So let's go. So we're starting our beach tour in the south, in Eriskay, where we're just leaving now from what's got to be the world's most scenic car charging point. And we stopped there and had lunch. And we've decided to film the beach at Eriskay with the drone, which I'll show you now, because there's a coach party arrived and the place is crawling. And I just thought, cattle grid. So I thought, I'll show you the beach at Eriskay now. The ferry was leaving. It was all absolutely idyllic. When you think of beaches in the Hebrides, you generally think of the Isle of Harris, places like Tuscany and Sheelabost, but Uist can certainly give Harris a run for its money. As you'll see later on, Clachan Sands especially, says to Harris, hold my bucket and spade. So let's have a little update while we drive to the next beach, which is in South Uist. Okay, so I've just stopped and switched the camera around and set it up through the phone. And this is the first time we're actually doing this, looking out of the windscreen of the EV6. And you can see we're getting a lot more sky than we did with the Navara, because I'm having to point the camera up because there's less space than anyway. Moving on, what I want to talk about in this video, I want to talk about the trip to Tuscany, give you an update on the car, on this EV6, a little update about my brother, and some health issues thereafter, and what we're doing next, which is very exciting. So we will start off with just some thank you, just a big thank you for all those people who left a kind comment after the tour through Tuscany. Sometimes it can be, I don't know, a little bit demoralizing as a YouTuber when you've put days and days of effort into making a video and you're very pleased with the quality of it, and then it doesn't seem to get as many views as something that someone's not spent much time, effort, or you know what I mean, time and effort into, and they haven't cared much for the quality of the content. And sometimes those videos, just if they have a sensationalist, almost clickbait worthy title and a stupid face pulled on the thumbnails, they might get more views. And it can be demoralizing when you've put a lot of work into the quality of a video and then it doesn't get as many views as some of these more sensationalist ones. And what's really kept me going is the kind comments that people have left. People saying how much they've enjoyed them. So I just wanted to say quickly a massive thank you if you are one of those people who've left a kind comment to that tour through Tuscany, and let us know that yes, we were doing, we're on the right track. And I would always strive for quality over clicks, and I was very pleased with the quality of those videos, and it was really heartening to get those lovely comments from people who said, yeah, we enjoyed that, we really liked that. So I want to say a big thank you for that. Now then, as you can see, we are in my new car, my Kia EV6, and I've been doing lots of miles in this recently because after doing the videos a few weeks ago with the caravan, admittedly only towed the caravan sort of 20-30 miles, a lot of people did say, did you know that you're meant to run your motor for 1,200 miles before you tow with it? And I said, no, I didn't. And it is there clearly in the handbook that you need to do 2,000 kilometers or 1,200 miles in your Kia EV6 before you tow with it. Cattle grid. Unfortunately, no one in the dealership I bought the car from thought to tell me this, and yes, it's on me to read the handbook from cover to cover before I actually drive the thing, but that's not the most practical. So because we'll come to this later in the video, I will be doing a trip soon with the caravan. I need to put some miles in it. We've done 1,068, but I think the good people of Uist are getting a bit fed up with me driving up and down the island, putting miles on the car, because the island chain is 50 miles long roughly. So I've been doing quite a lot of trips up and down. This is hopefully one of the last ones, as we're only 140 miles to go. I'm so over the moon with this car. It is absolutely beautiful. I love it. I love having an electric vehicle. It's so quiet and smooth and all the things. I've had no issues at all charging on the island, and where we've just been now to Eriskay, where I normally charge in Lochmaddy, it's just 20 pence per kilowatt hour, which is very reasonable. I'm getting about 3.7 to 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour, but then that's on island roads. The EV6 has a brilliant feature called iPedal, where you can regenerate. All your braking basically is regenerative, and you hardly ever have to touch the brake pedal at all. Every time you lift your foot from the accelerator, the car brakes and puts that energy back into the battery, so that is really good. So and right now I'm not braking. I just lift my foot off the accelerator and iPedal dives in, and rather than losing that energy to heat through the brakes, we get that energy back into the battery. So that is really good. There are some software glitches with this car that I think they're quite well documented. I won't go too much into them, but the worst one is, for example, lane assist. You do not want lane assist on these small island roads, because I think it's actually does more harm than good. But you have to, when you switch it off, which you can do through the menus, it resets every time you start the car. So the car does not remember the settings from when it was switched off. So every time you set off in the car, you have to go through the menus to switch off the lane assist warning, and other small issues like that. I'm also thinking, if this 1,200 miles before towing was so important, surely it only needs one line of code for the programmer to put into the car. That, you know, when a trailer's attached, because the car goes into what's called trailer mode, surely it can easily look at your mileage and say, you haven't done enough miles to tow a trailer. You know, that's not a difficult software solution for Kia to provide, if it was that important. I do know a Kia mechanic who's been trained by Kia, and he said it's more, in his opinion, it was more to do with the car learning your driving more than doing actual damage to the motor. So it's more of a calibration thing that they like you to do 1,200 miles before towing. Either way, I only did about 30 miles with the caravan. No harm's been done, but I want to do 1,200 before I do a serious tour or any serious mileage with the caravan. I am really over the moon with this car, and we'll talk more about it in future videos. Right now, we're heading to, well, we're in South Uist now. We've crossed the causeway from Eriskay, and let's go to another beach here in South Uist. Okay, so here we are in South Uist at a beautiful beach here. Let me turn the camera around and show you. Come on, Dougal. Or let Dougal show us. So here we are in South Uist on the beach, and I wanted to give you a little update about my brother. Thank you all so much for your good wishes while I was down in the winter taking care of him. For those of you who don't know, he was in intensive care for many weeks. He was on a ventilator for 6 weeks. But I'm delighted to tell you now, he is out of hospital. He is back at home. He's in his own home My mum's been taking care of him. I've gone down, given my mum some respite, and the good news is now hopefully there will be a care package in place for him until he gets stronger and fitter. And yeah, so that is really good news that my brother's finally home. Still a lot of work to do. He's got a lot of recovery left before him, but he's in good spirits, and that's good. So here's the lovely beach in South Uist, down in the southwest corner. The name escapes me. There's a few people. It's a busy Saturday here. You can hardly move for people. It's chock-a-block. So let's head north now and head on up to the island of Benbecula. Go on, Dukes, up you go. Just thought I'd show you, this is where Dougal lives, in the car. This is your little spot, isn't it, Dougal? Yeah. He loves it in this car, don't you, mate? He loves it. So smooth and quiet for you, isn't it? Excuse me, do you mind? Is that one going to go? Yes, no, yes, no. Hello, little lambs. Yes, bad to you too. Well, there you go, that's not bad. Coming up from South Uist, 4.8 miles to the kilowatt hour. Not bad at all. So here we are in Benbecula. Hope there's not too much wind noise here. We're at a place called Eriskay, which is very close to Barra, and it's north of the more popular Kula Bay, but it really is a lovely little bay. It really is gorgeous. One of my favourite little beaches in the Outer Hebrides. So we've covered the car and my brother. Now a little bit of personal stuff. When I got back from Kent in March, I had really high blood pressure, had a few other problems, and it turns out I had what the doctor called PTS, post-trauma stress, because funny enough, intensive care is a very intensive place. And I used to run, but sadly about a year ago I damaged my Achilles tendon, and been working hard at getting it back to full fitness. And the good news is I got the all clear from the physio and I've been running again. So I've started up the Couch to 5K once again. I'm currently on week 5, running now for about 20 minutes 3 times a week, and I feel so much better. If you are thinking of taking up running, I really recommend the Couch to 5K program. Just try some of the apps and see which ones you get on with. I found that what really works for me is actually not listening to music when I run, but just being very present. It probably helps living in a place like this. You don't want to listen to anything but the sea and the birds and the wind and the countryside. But yeah, try any. The one I use, I think is called by Zen Labs or Zenny Labs or something, and it tells you when to start walking, when to start running. My one criticism of the Couch to 5K program is I don't think they put enough emphasis on warming up and cooling down. Warm up and cool down is just a 5-minute walk either side of your run. That is not sufficient. That's why I damaged my Achilles tendon a year ago and I had a year out. Fortunately, my friend Mark in Setúbal, Portugal, has now given me a decent warm-up program and cool-down program. So I spend a good 10 minutes warming up and a good 10 minutes cooling down. Because to me, wrong side of 50, I need to look after my joints now and my tendons. And yeah, so I'm really happy to be running again. So, what's next for this channel? Well, I'm going to keep playing ball with Dougal, and then we're going to head up to my home island of North Uist, and then we'll talk about what's next. Right, before we get to the beach, we've stopped so that Dougal can top up his tan, and we can top up the car as well. Oh, and the ferry is about to leave. Okay, so here we are in North Uist. We stopped at Lochmaddy on the way and charged up the car, and Dougal soaked up some rays, just topped up the car really. And this behind me is one of the most famous beaches in North Uist. This is Clachan Sands. Let me turn the camera around so you can have a better look. So there's Clachan Sands, beautiful, and it's an informal camping area as well. The crofter here allows people to park their motorhomes here. I think it's about £10 a night, honesty box. So what's next for the channel? Well, the next trip for Dougal and me is next week. We're heading off with the car and the caravan, and we're doing a mini tour of Scotland. So bring that back. Yes, we're going to go over, we're just going to do a short tour down to South Uist and down to, what's Dougal doing? He's seen a motorhome, so he's just sort of just charged over to see who it is. Yes, we're doing a short tour of the west of Scotland, really just to get used to caravanning with the EV. So we're going to go down to South Uist, we're going to go across to Eriskay, then across to the Isle of Mull, and then to Oban, up to Fort William. So stay tuned for that. So we're going to have video about the trip to Scotland and how we get on, or to mainland Scotland, and how we get on first time caravanning with an EV properly, how we get on with charging it and stuff like that. We're going to go to our final beach now. We've done Eriskay, South Uist, Benbecula and North Uist, so the last one to do, the island at the top, is Berneray. What do you reckon then, Dougal? What do you reckon? Come on in, let's go. Let's go. So, as I said at the beginning of the video, folks, Uist can certainly give Harris a run for its money when it comes to beaches. Clachan Sands, where we just were, is equally as stunning, if not, in my opinion, more stunning than Sheila Bost. And giving Tuscany a run for its money is the Uist Beach at Berneray. We have sand dunes here as well, and it's a huge long beach if we get to the end. So here we are. It goes on for about a mile, I believe. Just endless white sandy beach. Absolutely stunning. Hey Dougal. So speaking of Harris, that brings us on to the final part of this video, which is where we will be heading after we've been and done the tour of Scotland with the caravan and the EV. I will then be hosting here a friend of mine. He is coming over from Portugal, and I'm going to show him the islands. And I thought that would be a great opportunity to at least do a first update to the How to Hebrides series. That was 2019, that was 3 years ago that series came out. So I thought it's high time we did a little update. So that's going to take us well into June for a How to Hebrides update, a 2022 update. and then in July, that's another story. That's all the news, folks. That is what we're doing. I hope you enjoyed this little beach tour of Uist. It's just a little quick video while I'm out with Dougal today. Hey Dougs, Dougal, come here. Let's wrap this video up. So folks, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed catching up with me and Dougal. If you did, you know what to do. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you don't already. Join us next week for our EV tour of mini tour of Scotland. And in the meantime, folks, it just leaves me to say, from Dougal and from me, from the beautiful island of Berneray, thanks for tuning in. There. Are you excited about all these trips coming up, Dougal? Are you excited about all these trips? I'm going to Mallaig and Eriskay and Mull and he never smiles. Good boy.